Hey guys, Chris, Ironhead Garage. Oh, we're back out in the shop. I did get my pulleys all painted up. My alternator bracket painted up. I did receive my new chrome valve covers. Yeah, they're pretty slick, almost too nice for this old truck. But they got the drippers inside, so that's cool. I got to get a new breather for here. I got one here, but she's pretty roached out. I got an oil cap. It's got a little spot there on the bottom, but it's not too bad. You might see about getting another one of them. There's a driver's side with a oil cap filler in it. It's got the drippers too. Had one bad review on these valve covers that you could see where the spot welds are for the drippers, but you can barely tell right there if you see in the light. But she ain't a show truck, so these are going to be just fine. So this engine, I wasn't too worried about it being too many miles on it. You could tell by look inside the heads there, so it's almost like new in there. Got a little bit of old oil in there, but man, there ain't no gunk. You can tell nobody's ran any Pennzoil in this thing. My buddy Bob, he used to work at a mechanic shop, and they used to work on taxi fleets, and all they ran was Pennzoil, and the whole bunch of goop would be up in the heads here from Pennzoil. But these are pretty clean. Must have ran Castro like old John Force does. But anyway, we're gonna get these valve covers on here. We got new gaskets sitting over here. Got the cork Velcro gaskets. I think I'm gonna put a little thin bead of RTV in these valve covers and get them gaskets to stick in there, just enough to stick them. Then put them on. The old valve covers, somebody used a lot of goop. They got the rubber gaskets on there, and I use those rubber ones on the 55 here, and I noticed that back one leaks a little bit. So I don't know if the cork are better, the rubber's better. The cork's tried and true for years, so we went with the cork this time. Oh, my thermostat sending unit. This guy here, this is one out of the old big block Chevy when I got it. I'm going to use this in this engine because I'm sure it works. I'll test it. But after I painted this all up, I tried to get this one out. No go. So I stripped the top of it off. I even used that big giant pipe wrench over there. The little one first and then the big one. Vice grips. Could not get that cinder to come out of there. So I ended up cutting it off with a cold chisel, real sharp, cut it off flush, and then drilled it out. I stuck a rag down in here in my water jacket, so no shavings would go down in my my head here in the water jacket. But I drilled it to 5/8 big hole. It was about 1/8 of an inch from the inside of those threads in there. And so I took my burr bit and I worked it and worked it and worked it until there was just a light layer to get into those threads. I didn't want to mess those threads up. And then I took a little baby screwdriver, and the slivers of brass just started popping out in there, and I got my vacuum. I actually put this little hose here on my vacuum. It worked pretty good. A little snout there, Gorilla taped it on there, and was able to suck a bunch of them shavings out of there. And then I pulled that rag out and got the rest of them. But so none went down in the head, so that was good. And I have a tap, 3/4 NPT tap that I tapped that and cleaned them out. Now this guy screws right in. So next time when I go to paint an intake manifold, I'm gonna take that out first, and all these other guys. This is for the vacuum, so this one's fine. And that's just a plug. And that's another plug, so that'll stay there forever. But yeah, I lucked out on that, not messing that manifold up. So get the RTV or the Ultra Black Permatex out and put a little bit on them valve covers, get them gaskets on there. All right, gotta get busy. All right, well, I got the valve cover gaskets forming to the valve covers. Put some tape on them because they were kind of bent in. Letting them set for a little while, but I did get the Stuart Warner temperature gauge. Bought it off of eBay. The guy said it worked. Well, we're gonna see. So you can bench test this if you got a good sender, and you can test that. So I got the sender hooked up. So on the back, I got the 12 volt wire, the blue wire. It's going to go to the positive on the battery. The top one there is the ground. I have it going to the battery on the negative. And you got to ground the sender because the sender would usually ground into the block there. And the other one is the sensor. This brown wire. This one's 12 volts, ground, and the sensor. So, see if I can set this here. I got the sensor wire hooked up to the top of the sender. So let me get that blue wire hooked up. The needle will jump a little bit when you turn your ignition on, but it shouldn't climb or it shouldn't dive. So let me try to put this power wire on the battery. Hold 1 second. Okay, I got the power on the positive side of the battery, and you can see the needle just went up just a bump. So I got my Bic lighter here. I'm going to heat this guy up and see if that gauge works, see if that guy was telling the truth. You can buy a lot of gauges on eBay, but they say not tested. And it's a pretty easy test, actually. Need a little torch. Oh, you can see it going up. It's off of 60 now. Yeah, it'd be better with like a propane torch. But she's working. She's climbing off of 60. Must be about 80 degrees now. And the sender was on the cold concrete, so it's probably pretty darn cold. But it looks like the guy was telling the truth. She's climbing. So let's kill her. And it should go back down. Yep, as it's going back down already. So, got a good score on an old vintage gauge. It's got brass, so it should fit in my dash. So, killer. All right, back to them valve covers and on the other things. Easy way to test them. Yeah, I got the Southeast gassers back on, but I went ahead and put them valve covers on. Man, the old Pontiac is she's becoming a beauty. So I ended up having a black breather up there sitting on my TV shelf, and I had a new grommet in my toolbox, so that was cool. So I ended up painting that oil cap just satin black like my firewall, and it matches the breather. So yeah, she's looking pretty slick. I ended up getting my base gasket, so I got the carburetor all tightened up, cleaned up. Got my choke cable on. Got a new distributor cap and a different coil cap that I had. Cleaned it up real nice. Yeah, man, this motor, she was an ugly dog, but she's coming together pretty good. I did get my my throttle rod that I made and my kickdown cable bracket painted up. So, probably get them on. I need to get my thermostat housing on. need to do that timing chain cover. Put them alternator brackets on, but yeah, she's coming together. She's looking pretty good for an old Pontiac. Man, she was a rusty dog. The mice were living underneath that intake manifold. All right, let's get back on it. Lots more to do. Well, I got the timing chain cover on there. I got the water pump bolted on there. And when I did this manifold, before I torqued it down, I slid it forward, because you want to have it slid forward so that O-ring seals are up in there. If it's all the way back, then you'll probably have a leak there. But everything bolted up tight. It all looks like it's sealed up good. I did make some pins, some alignment pins for that cover. Got the harmonic balancer bolts painted up. I got to put the fuel pump on. I got to tighten this up and turn the engine over a little bit and get that cam gear to turn so that fuel pump rod will go up in there easier. I put my alternator bracket on. Here's a stud that it bolts to. I believe I got to take this bolt out here and put a stud like this because the alternator bracket comes up over the top. So yep, she's coming along pretty good. She's looking sweet. So I went ahead and painted this throttle rod in that kickdown cable, and I got it bolted on, but it ain't gonna work because I set my engine down lower and then it's back further towards the firewall. And if I put this kickdown cable into that hole, it interferes with the throttle pedal linkage here. So I'm gonna end up cutting this top piece off here where it's welded, and then put it straight down to the bottom there, and actually that'll line up a lot better. Anyway, before it was kind of up in the air, so I got to do that, and then this throttle rod will drop down a little bit, throttle linkage, and here's this throttle rod that I made before, and it don't have enough throw. It's going to hit the firewall back there. See, this moves back about probably 2.5 inches. So I'm going to end up cutting that end off of there and threading it more, get a die. I don't have this size, 1/4 inch 36 pitch I believe it is, and I probably have to thread it down here somewhere. We'll see though, I might have to bend it, but I'll mock that up and get that going. Darn spring's gonna scratch my stuff up. But yeah, coming along pretty good. She's sure looking sweet. I'm digging it. Alright guys, back on it some more. Alright, well, got my fuel pump on there. Got my alternator, my brackets, and my pulleys all tightened up on there. The belt's got a good alignment on it. So that's killer. It was kind of wacky when I first bolted it on, but it's all good now. Got my fuel line on there. Got my vacuum lines on there. So yep, she's looking pretty nice. If you guys remember this engine when I first started, she was pretty ratty looking. Hold on, I'll put a picture of it, what it used to look like. Yeah, so you can tell, man, she's like a new engine compared to that. Mice were living underneath the intake, all on top of the bell housing. It was pretty nasty, but yeah, pretty cool. Let's put the air cleaner on, see if I can do this with one hand. Maybe so. Probably scratch something up. Got an adapter on there. Put this guy on there. Got our wing nut. Don't want to drop that down the carburetor. That would be bad news. Come on now. Not sure if I'll keep that that air cleaner on there, but dresses are up pretty nice. So there's still lots more to do. I still gotta modify that kick down bracket, and I gotta get a tap still, but I'll probably do that next. But we'll leave this for a video. She's getting pretty long again. Well, I hope you guys had a happy Easter and enjoy the rest of the weekend, whichever time it is. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you. Take care. We'll see you next time.